This is Respectfully Outrageous with Nathan and Ben.
Today we're talking about preseason observations and AFC North team previews.
Hope you enjoy. So at this point, we are halfway through the NFL preseason. What are your thoughts on what do you like? What do you don't like? What are things that stand out to you? Yeah, go ahead.
I think star players are playing a little bit too much in general. I'm not going to get into the whole Odell Beckham dirty hit, non-dirty hit, but I'm just saying, in general, starters are playing a lot. Like Russell Wilson played a lot against the Vikings. Beckham, even when Derek Anderson was the starter because of Cam's shoulder, he played a lot more than I thought he was going to play. Other than that, I also noticed the rookies aren't playing that much. Like, Trubisky's only playing like a 2-minute drill. Deshaun Watson played a half, but other than that, he's only in there for a couple snaps. McCaffrey's really not playing much.
Kaiser's going to start this third preseason game, but
which I will get into when we talk about
our Cleveland
Browns in the AFC North preview. But what I do want to say is the Rams offense looks good. And I'm not joking. Being 32nd in the league for like 3 consecutive years offensively, it's surprising that they are finding ways to stretch the field going down the field. And not in trick plays or just home run balls, but consistently attacking the middle of the field. And that's honestly impressive and a good sign. But I will say that on the flip of the coin, oh my word, that Raiders defense is awful. It just, I don't care if it's the preseason, I don't care if they're playing their starters. I have never seen a weaker effort by a defense. I've never seen it. They were on the goal line, and they're going to give it off to Todd Gurley. Their defensive linemen, the defensive tackles, didn't even get into their stance. They were still standing all the way up, and they just pushed it. It was pathetic. It was pitiful. Khalil Mack got a sack. I didn't see Bruce Irvin's stats, but I think Sean Smith, from the corner they acquired from the Chiefs, is officially been a failure in Oakland. I've just officially thrown in the towel. Last year, I was like, you know what? After that Saints game, I'm going to give him another chance. I'm going to give him another chance. I don't care if Brandon Cooks went 99 yards to the house against him. I don't care. I'll give him a chance. He's just consistently getting beat. I don't know if you move into safety that will help. The problem is you have Reggie Nelson, Obi Melanfawu. They have a lot of guys at safety. So I don't know what the whole Sean Smith ordeal is. If you move him to the slot, maybe that would help. But all I know is he's getting cooked against number ones. Other things that look good. I like the celebrations. I like the laxness. The Lions looked good, just overall. They looked good. But other than that...
Something I want to point out, though, with the point that you said about the starters. I will agree. We've seen a lot of starters.
Yeah.
More so than in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what is a healthy amount at this point. I'm thinking... Dak played, 2 drives?
I'm thinking 2 to 3 series.
And that was pretty good, because you want to keep them fresh.
Yeah, no more than 13 throws.
Right. And to the point about Dak, he, 7 for 803 and 1 touchdown?
It's the Colts defense.
Yeah, no, the Colts defense was not great.
I've said this before, and not as a podcast, but I've said this before talking to you. What does Dak need to prove?
Yeah.
He went out as he's a 4th-round pick.
Basically at this point, he's proving that he's no bust. I think that's...
is to prove he's not a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
He's not a scheme quarterback, and he doesn't have to ad-lib to make plays. And he made the good throws, and he wasn't making the throws on the run. He was standing in the pocket like, a typical NFL quarterback.
Which is good. If he can get in that rhythm, he'll really be a threat when he can get out of the pocket.
Yep. And that's kind of the thing is, he looked like Alex Smith, like a vintage Alex Smith, not taking a diss at him, but the way he just methodically moved down the field against the Colts was really impressive.
And even just game managed as well.
Yeah.
Finding spots in the defense.
I think
the Colts defense.
I looked at him, and I went back and watched some of his game highlights from last year. It looks like he's definitely studied and owned the NFL.
Yes.
He's picking apart defenses. You can tell he has that year off they talk about, and you could tell it. Whoa. He looks like a different quarterback mentally, which is another compliment. But what else? What happened to Vontae Davis? What happened?
Dude, Des Bryant. I mean, Von didn't even know where the ball was on that back shoulder.
Okay. This is going to be a little bit dramatic. But Vontae Davis' career ended when he got cut by the Dolphins at Hard Knocks. I'm serious. And the reason I'm saying that is he's played well with the Colts. He had a really good year. You know, he had that huge hit.
In his couple in the first years with the Colts, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was like, you know,
he was a solid corner.
It was Revis, it was him, it was Talib, it was Sherman, and then you could make him up the argument. Now, Trey Waynes is playing better than him.
And Vontae's their number
one corner. I mean, it was. Do you remember the Thanksgiving game? The second Thanksgiving game.
Oh, with Pittsburgh
and the Colts.
Yeah.
Where Scott Tolzien was the starter.
Yep.
That hit he took.
That was an awful game.
That hit he took by Mike Mitchell. But we're not going to talk about the Colts offense in that game, which was really bad. But he was just couldn't run with Antonio Brown. Not that most corners can, because Antonio Brown's a really good route runner. But he just had no idea what he was doing. It was just, I don't know if the Colts need a new scheme. I don't know if he wasn't playing healthy. I don't know what it is. But all I know is he should not be their number one starting corner.
Well, and the issue with the Colts is their entire team is awful, and they're just in an awful situation right now.
Let's throw out the life preserver here. Let's T.Y. Hilton, Andrew Luck. Their center looks good. Their running game, I don't know what they're gonna do.
The Colts have always had a weak running game.
I mean, even with Peyton, they had Jadil Adai or
Adai. I don't know. I thought it was Joseph, but
and then they had some other people
or someone, yeah.
But let's go down to the scum of the NFL, Jacksonville.
They need to release Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles is not the quarterback for Jacksonville.
The thing is, Blake Bortles was ascending. Like, he was good. And I've had this talk with my dad several times. Like, yeah, Jacksonville's going to be good. Doug Marrone's going to turn it around. Jacksonville's going to be good. Blake Bortles is going to get it fixed. I'm like, you know what? I like his passing stats. The turnovers are going to go away. And they just never did.
No.
And I think it was the Detroit game where I gave up on Blake Bortles.
Well, even though this is preseason, he's still playing awful.
No, the thing is, remember when he was like 4 games in a row where he threw the football off the guy's foot and got intercepted?
Yeah.
Intercepted? Was that 4 games or was that 3 games in a row?
Was it 3?
Because I was watching it on Come On Man like a week ago, so I was just wondering. I think it was 3. Because they had the one who was taken back by A.J. Boye. There was one on the Lions, and then there was one before that, I believe.
But if you're the Jaguars, I think you just gotta... He's not the quarterback for them. He could be the quarterback for another team.
Mm-hmm. I really think that the New York Giants should sign him.
But they have Eli Manning and Geno Smith. And Carl Nassib, I think.
Carl Nassib. They also have Davis Webb. But like, Blake Bortles is better than Carl Nassib. He's better than Geno Smith. And if you get him behind a quarterback like Eli Manning, and he actually
maybe he can
learn something, and if you turn him around, you have a young quarterback with pretty mobile with a great arm, and he's going to be throwing to Odell Beckham Jr., Evan Ingram, Brandon Marshall.
Well, depending on how long he stays.
Is the good point. Like, if this is a 2-year project, then Brandon Marshall might be on the way outs. Who knows? Especially like what happened in Buffalo.
Sterling Shepard.
Yeah. But I just don't really like. I feel like the Patriots aren't playing hard in the preseason. Not that I'm questioning their effort. It's just like Belichick's just not using he's just using them as like practices.
Well, and that's what he's using them for because he knows his players can play. Mm-hmm. So, and he expects them to play because if you don't, good luck.
You're gone.
Yeah.
It's the Patriot way. You play or you leave. Mm-hmm. But one huge injury for the Patriots that I think has slipped under the cracks a little bit is their first round pick, Derek Rivers, went down.
Yes, yeah.
And they had to move Dante Hightower to end. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, he's a good pass rusher. Just ask Devontae Freeman how good of a pass rusher he is. I'm sorry, Falcons fans. I'm sorry. I had to. But if the Patriots can't get pass rush, this is going to be interesting because they have Stephon Gilmore. They have new corners. They're secondary. Mm-hmm. And their most experienced player on defense is like Malcolm Butler. Yeah.
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 Or do they still have Jason McCourty?
I think they have Devin McCourty.
Devin, okay, yeah.
Devin's
they have one of the McCourtys.
Honestly, at this point, I think they should just sign Jason because he's just got a ton of experience.
Yeah.
But the Patriots, I just never thought I would say the Patriots have an experienced defensive lineman. I'm not saying that I think Rob Dinkovich is going to come out of retirement for him. I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
But they just look unexperienced on defense, which, is Bill Belichick can find a way to make it work. But I think that could be a weak start for the Patriots. The Bills, I have too many moving pieces.
Yeah.
They have too much inconsistency at wide receiver. There's too many rumors, and I think that's going to be destructive for the Buffalo Bills.
Honestly, on an overall note for the preseason, I've kind of noticed, like you said, moving pieces.
Mm-hmm.
They're just really trying to figure out what works and what doesn't.
I feel like they're kind of like cutting and pasting. Like, I'll take a little bit of this.
Yeah.
Like, when you're at Subway, I'll take some lettuce, some tomato, mayonnaise, a little bit of that. I don't want it baked. I only want half of it. I was like, you're just sticking too much together and hoping it's gonna work. You're not like putting the time together, and I think it's gonna fall apart. Not that I want them to fall apart.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that makes a great come on man segment, but I also enjoy good football. Mm-hmm. And one thing I want to say is if Cardale Jones figures it out, he's gonna be good.
Yeah. Well, especially behind Phillip Rivers.
Yes.
Because Phillip Rivers is on the way out.
Oh, he's on the way out.
So.
And I really, honestly, my first and gut reaction of him leaving was no. Because I thought Tyrod Taylor's going to play there for 3 more years.
Yeah.
I don't really care how old he is, but he's not going to be a career player from Buffalo. Which would be an upgrade because, most people never thought he was going to start because he was the backup in Baltimore. He won the Super Bowl. And then he went to Buffalo. But now he's going to L.A., he's got Phillip Rivers, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. I would say he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Chargers' offense is going to get it figured out. And besides, even if Phillip Rivers leaves next year, let's say he surprisingly retires. I don't think it's going to happen. He's a great competitor. If he's thrust into the starting role, he's got one of the most experienced tight ends in the game, Antonio Gates.
And Hunter Henry.
And Hunter Henry. And they got
Melvin Gordon.
I got a running game. They got Tyrell Williams. They got Keenan Allen if he stays healthy.
Yep.
They have Mike Williams if he stays healthy.
Yep.
Keynote if he stays healthy with the Chargers, if they stay healthy. And then defensively, since we're talking about the LA Chargers, I think Joey Bosa's looked good. Mm-hmm. He's looked good.
He's gotten past that holdout that he had at that last year.
He's when I watched him last year, some of his tape, he looked like he was just using his hands, just a hands guy. And then I watched him a little bit this year, and he looks like he's evolved a little bit, like his game's changed.
Yeah.
Speaking of players that have just kind of surprised me, T.J. Watt. Yeah. And I thought, why are you taking him in the first round? He's related to J.J. I get it. He's a brother, Yeah. If it's J.J., he can't be that bad. But he might start over James Harrison. They're only going to use James Harrison as a 3rd down and 20 guy.
A specialist, probably.
Basically a pass rush specialist. Kind of like how Wade Phillips was starting to use Von Miller because they wanted to.
And DeMarcus Ware.
Yep, basically how they used DeMarcus Ware. And James Harrison is fine with it, but I'm looking at the Steelers defense, and what Mike Tomlin said, if I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, oh boy. He said, we are hoping he's basically saying we are betting that our pass rush can get there before our corners have to cover people.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, are you blitzing every play then?
Yeah.
They're basically 0 blitzing every play and expecting people to get, which basically means you send everybody except the corners that are covering people. And if they have a running back, that can create problems. But I think Steelers defense is going to be notoriously bad this year. And just kind of worrying. I just don't think it's good that if you see someone that's coming back from injury just starting this year. Not starting this year, but Cam's going to make his first debut. So it's Curtis Samuel.
Yeah. J.J. Watt.
Yep.
I mean, he did play in the preseason game, I think.
Yep, but
But we didn't hear much from him.
What is J.J. Watt basically needs to show that he's healthy. He's not limping around.
Right.
And he gets a sack in the preseason. We're fine.
Yeah.
It's J.J. Watt. Okay. He can play with a broken hand. He's fine. But anything else that really jumps out to you?
Really, just kind of it's a lot different from last year.
Yes, the preseason is.
I will say that some teams that have looked good are still pretty good, but just the picture is so much different. I mean, last year you're looking at New England, who was right number one, and Dallas was up there, Green Bay, and even just their teams have changed. You know, Patriots, Brandon Cooks, Stephon Gilmore, Rob Ninkovich left, or retired, I guess. Dallas was out at this point without Zeke for 6 games. And Dez is healthy at this point, looking good. Jason Witten, obviously healthy. And Jalen Smith is back for Dallas. Or I guess starting now.
Because he didn't play much because he got injured.
He did look good in that game, though.
Yeah.
He played with a lot of passion, which is what the Cowboys' defense needs. And even if you look at Green Bay as well, they got Martellus Bennett, which is a good pickup. I don't think they got made too much moves on defense.
The Packers GM is not openly going on free agency to the draft and stuff like that.
But even so, the picture's different. Even Seattle looks just like a total different team from like 2 years ago.
I'll tell you what, there's barely anyone left from the Super Bowl team.
I know, yeah.
I mean, defensively, who's left from the Super Bowl team?
Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas,
Sherman.
Lane Sherman,
Shed.
Yeah, Deshaun Shed,
Cliff Averill, KJ Wright,
Bennett,
Bobby Wagner, Malcolm Smith's gone, Bruce Urban's gone, Brownie Browner's gone, Walter Thurman's gone, Nolan Carroll left. He was there and then he left.
Marshawn Lynch is gone.
Just Travaris Jackson's gone. The whole team, like the Seattle Seahawks, look completely different. So like once you win the Super Bowl, your team looks like everyone gets out of there.
Except for New England.
Yeah.
Well, we have it could be next year. Brady could retire.
Look at their running back position from New England last year. You had James White, Deion Lewis, LeGarrette Blount, and then somebody else. And then even a couple years ago, they had Shane Vereen and
Stephen Ridley.
Yeah, Stephen Ridley. They're gone. Like the Patriots just keep changing and changing and changing. And the thing that really take away from this year to last year, everyone is changing rapidly. Like there's like
it was
turnover.
Very fast. It all happened quickly.
I don't know if it's a new roster cut that you have a 90-man roster and then you have to go to 53, which Bill Belichick loves. But I don't know if that's factoring into the whole changing of how fast teams are changing or evolving, I should say.
Yeah, so those are my takeaways. It's just kind of a different league, and I'm excited though because I'm excited to see what happens. Different schedules, different matchups, all that. So next we're going to talk about our AFC North team previews. So we're going to continue our series with team previews. This week we're going to be talking about the AFC North. We'll start with the division leaders, which wasn't by much. The Pittsburgh Steelers. What are your thoughts on what they're going to improve on, what they need to improve on, what's going to happen to them this year?
They need to improve on defense, and defense.
Well, and they need Le'Veon Bell to come back.
Honestly, I don't. Like what Ben Roethlisberger said to Le'Veon Bell was like almost ego cutting. Like, here you go, we need you, we want you to come back. And he's right. Le'Veon Bell, when healthy, is one of the best running backs in the league.
Yep.
Versatile, can do basically anything you ask.
Pass catcher. I mean,
You line him up wide receiver, running back, fullback, tight end, doesn't matter. I bet he can throw a quarterback. It doesn't. Le'Veon Bell is the ultimate football player. The offense is prolific as it's ever been. Receivers, tight ends, it's all clicking offensively. But special teams, they have what they need. They have everything they have. They have everything they need to make a playoff run and deep into the Super Bowl run, except the defense.
Yep.
James Harrison is not the problem. They need help at the linebacker position. They need some more defensive linemen besides Stephon Tuitt and Cameron Hayward. And that secondary, besides Artie Burns, needs help.
Yes.
Help. It is pathetically bad.
Yep.
Pathetic. It's worse than Dallas's. It is pathetically bad. It's not that they're undersized. Their corners are shorter.
Yep.
And they're no-name guys. Not like they don't have names, but these are guys you don't know.
Right, yeah.
You have, William Gay is their second corner, or is he their starter? William Gay.
Don't they have, Crockle or something.
Ross Crockwell, Artie Burns.
Yeah.
I mean, Artie Burns is good at Miami, but seriously, these are guys like Artie Burns would be like a third or fourth string starter on the Vikings, and the Vikings don't have the best corners, but they're decent corners.
Yeah.
The Titans, he might be second or third. Carolina, he would definitely start. New Orleans, he would start. No, they mash on Lattimore. But the point is, what I'm getting at is, these are not bad players that they have. These are players that shouldn't be playing that high up on the depth chart, and they have.
They're good players, but not when they're up against the number 2 and number 1 receivers.
No. And if they play Atlanta, you thought it was bad.
Yeah.
When they tried to have Ladarius Gunter, and some of the other guys for the Packers try to cover Julio. You thought that was bad. You thought Benjamin Wickery and Julio was a mismatch. Oh no, 500 yards for Julio. They can't run with him. And when your coach says, when an inspirational coach, Mike Tomlin says, we are praying that we can get pass rush, that means help. That's what that means.
Yeah.
It means we can't cover anybody down the field.
Yep.
And the problem is, it's not even that. It's not even their run defense is that great. It's in the middle. They're kind of weak against the run.
Yeah.
So they have everything they need except the defense. And the problem is, Ben Roethlisberger is aging.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that he's going to go fall off a cliff in like a year or whatever. I think he's fine. But there's also the fact that I don't know how much Roethlisberger really wants to play. Because you don't say that I'm thinking about retirement if you love the game. Like,
right, yeah.
Like, there's something in that situation that's just not quite right. I don't know if it's the defense. I don't know if it's the irritation, the fact that he's not getting the help that he needs defensively. I think if he's asked to be doing too much. I don't know if it's the pounding from his offensive line, which is really good.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I do get it. It gets
maybe it's just the off the field stuff.
Yeah.
With just the operations of football itself.
Maybe it's just the trauma of some of the hits accumulate, not even the big ones, but just the pounding that the game takes.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know. I still think they're the best contenders to win this division, though.
Well, no duh.
Because this division is super weak.
It's one of the weakest divisions in the AFC.
Yeah.
Definitely. Record, I don't see Ben Roethlisberger throwing for 300 yards a game every game. And I kind of feel like they're going to repeat what they did last year. Good, bad. Good, bad. But I don't see them getting into these 3-game win streak, 3-game lose streak, 3 games, those streaks again.
Yep.
I don't see that happening. And I want to say 9-7.
I was going to say 9-7 as well. If Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown are on the field...
10-6. They can flip it to 10. But the problem is, I see him getting knocked off at Empty Bank Stadium. I see like there's some close games on their schedule that really make me go...
But I like 9-7.
Yeah, 10-6, 9-7. Right in there. But I don't see the Steelers... I see the Steelers as a dominant team at home.
And I don't see them as a deep playoff threat either.
No. They've shown that they can't beat the Patriots. They can't. They're going to beat themselves. They've got guys open in the end zone, and they just can't catch. Just drop them. I don't know if it's the cold. I don't know if it's the gloves. I don't know what the brand is. They just can't catch them in the end zone. And it didn't matter if Le'Veon Bell went in, D'Angelo Williams went in. It didn't matter. But let's talk about, because we don't know how long Ben Roethlisberger is going to be a starter for Pittsburgh.
Right.
I'm saying he's going to finish out the year because I don't think he would leave. But they also have Joshua Dobbs, who I think is going to be okay.
And they still have Landry Jones, right?
Yep, I believe so. So I think that...
Who did all right
Yeah.
in Roethlisberger's absence for a couple games last year.
But you just don't ever want to see that again.
No.
But I think their glaring weak spots would be their secondary.
Yeah. Obviously.
But I'm also really impressed by what I saw by James Conner, the running back for Pittsburgh that stepped in.
Oh, yeah.
So even if Le'Veon Bell can't come back right away, they're going to be okay running the ball for Pittsburgh. So we're going to place them at 9-7, would you say?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fair.
Yeah.
Now,
Baltimore. Like you said with the Bills, I think Baltimore's just got too many moving pieces, and they're trying to move too fast.
They're moving too many pieces. There's too many stories in Baltimore. There's too much media attention on Baltimore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You got the Flacco injury.
I mean, Flacco gets tackled, and he's like, oh, he's out for 6 weeks. I mean...
the problem is, that doesn't do it, but have you seen him try to slide the football? He can't slide. He does not know how to slide. He's like running on the field, and then he just falls down. Like, I'm surprised he hasn't broken his knee doing that. It's the most unathletic sliding I've ever seen. Peyton Manning's better at it. It's the most unathletic sliding I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But the thing I really like, they had this linebacker that came back, Zachary Orr. Then he left. And the problem is, these are just all storylines accumulating into this mess that's Baltimore. They don't have a great running game. Their defense has some pieces like Tim Williams. They got a corner, but they got some pieces. They just don't have a complete anything. That's the problem. This describes this division perfectly. Pieces. They're all just pieces.
I mean, if you look at the Steelers, they've got a great quarterback, great running back, great wide receiver.
Great offense, but it's all pieces. They can't complete the puzzle.
Yep.
They're not complete teams.
So, what do you think the Ravens are going at? I'm thinking, 6 and
I'm saying 5-11.
6 and 10.
5-11. This defense does not impress me. It screams despotism. There's just so many things that keep going around.
The only way that I could see them going 6 and 10 is if Danny Woodhead is not injured,
and
because he does provide a good threat out of the backfield.
Yep, definitely. Especially on the draws and stuff like that. He's pretty good against pass protection, which is surprising.
Yeah.
With his stature. I'm not calling him short. I'm just saying he's an undersized running back.
Yep.
Didn't they have another running back?
Terrence West.
Yeah, him. Is he healthy or is he injured?
He's healthy. So I mean, if they can really utilize or use the dual running back set, then maybe they can catch some teams off guard and win some games. That's why I'm thinking 6 and 10s.
Yeah.
But that's really the only way I see them winning. I mean, look at the receivers. They have what? Mike Wallace, Brashad Perriman, who's actually pretty good.
He's fast.
Yeah, he's really fast. Dennis Pitta. Mm-hmm. They have good depth at tight end.
A lot of depth at tight end. But I think the Ravens defensively, when your best player is Terrell Suggs is getting he's like, let's put it on the he's on the edge. Is Elvis Dumervil still there?
I don't know.
I think he's either there or he's a free agent, one of the two.
Yeah.
But let's just say their linebackers are on the like some of the oldest linebackers in the NFL.
Yep.
And there's nothing on their D linemen or their secondary. I mean, Eric Weddle is a good player, but there's nothing in the defense that screams we are really talented or deep at any position. We have good pieces. It's like a Madden Ultimate Team when you draft and you only can get a couple players.
Yeah. And
you just throw some people together and you hope it works. That's kind of what the Ravens defense looks like.
Yeah, they're just trying to they try to fix one thing, but then something else slips out, and they're just trying to get too much. They just kind of need to focus on what they have and try and better that.
It's like grabbing your handful of gummy beans. You're just trying to pick them up, and they also
you're trying to pick the ones you want, but then you drop more.
Just slide them through your fingers. You just gotta take it as a mess. Just gotta take and go with it. I think that summarizes the Ravens.
Yeah.
No.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Let's talk about the defense first.
Vontaze perfect.
I can't stand him.
Yeah.
He just infuriates me.
Carlos Dunlap, is he on the...
He's still there. I checked recently the story, so he's still there. Geno Atkins is a really good player.
Yeah, he is. He's really good.
Carlos Dunlap is actually really tall.
What is he, 6'10"?
It's insane. He's really long and lanky.
Yep.
But those two can't do it all defensively.
Right.
And their corners, DeAndre Kirkpatrick, Adam Jones, they're just aging. And every time I see George Iloka, you're like, he's a really good player. Yep. And then you see him constantly taking poor tackling angles.
Yep.
I've never seen someone like, yeah, he's so good. And you keep believing that he's good, but he just consistently performs horribly. And that's the Bengals. You say they have a lot of talent, but they just don't put it together. And it doesn't help that Vontaze Burfict is a dirty player, and there's just evidence to prove it. He just is. But other than that, defensively, there's no glaring weak spots that say that they're bad, but they just play awful.
Yeah. I mean, what was it last year? Would they go 4-0 or 6-0 at one point?
Yeah. Was that the year before?
They lost
yeah, I think that was the year before.
I think they've done it multiple times though. I mean, they can start out really strong, but then oops.
I think it was the year before last year because then Tyler Eifert went off, and then they had that crazy game against the Seahawks. Mm-hmm. And then they had the crazy winner with Mike Nugent making it. But defensively, I just feel like they describe the whole division as just pieces. They're just pieces. Now, let's talk about offense. Tyler Eifert is fine.
Yeah. AJ Green, he's good.
He's good.
Yeah, he's good.
Now
Their running back situation,
is a mess.
they've got Giovanni Bernard, Jeremy Hill, and Joe Mixon.
I'm not going to get into the off the field issues with Joe Mixon. They're on YouTube. Everyone's got their own opinion on it. What he did was disgusting, and I can't stand it. But he's a good player.
But the issue with the Bengals, they need to find a
starter.
main workhorse.
They need to find a starter. They can't do running back by committee. It doesn't work.
Especially when you have three.
The reason the Falcons worked is because they could do both.
Yeah.
They both could do both. It didn't matter if it was...
Well, and Tevin Coleman's really good pass catching.
You put him Tevin Coleman in the ground, he can run it. You put Devontae Freeman out, he can catch it. They can both do both.
Yeah.
But the problem is, the Bengals, they're all receiving backs besides Jeremy Hill.
Yeah.
Giovanni
And
Bernard.
Jeremy Hill has issues with fumbling.
Jeremy Hill... Oh, just has to Steelers fans about that one. But Jeremy Hill has issues with fumbling. He's a good player, but he's just not consistent enough.
Yeah.
Like, he's got these great runs, but then he just can't stay good enough. He's like, either he's really, really good, or he's just, bland.
Yeah, he has his good games.
Which are the Bengals. Now let's talk about that quarterback position. I cannot stand Andy Dalton. I don't know.
I really can't either.
I don't know if it's the hair. I don't know if it's his career winning percentage. He just stinks in every sense of the word. He doesn't motivate me. He disgusts me. And it just disgusts me to the point where he can't even take criticism. It's just infuriating. It's not like Tony Romo, who has charisma, even though he'll throw you the game, but he'll give you the charisma to give you the confidence to get yourself back in the game. He doesn't have that. He's not prolific as a passer. He's not a great runner. He's not a great game manager. Why is he still there? It just doesn't make sense. Like, what is he great at? What is he good at? He's not even... They have a better number two than him.
He just lobs it up to AJ Green. I mean, really? That's
He
really all he does.
just lobs it up to AJ Green or throws an interception. Or gets sacked or fumbles. It just does not... It's just not productive. And you're wondering why there's so many empty open seats. Because they don't want to see him play.
No.
You can't play.
They got to start AJ McCarron.
They have to start AJ McCarron. And the thing that really gets to me is TCU honors him like he was the great Franco Harris at Penn State. Like, they have this picture up in my room. It's like, really? Really? You're going to put his picture up. Did you forget that Trevon Boykin just played? Did you forget that?
Yeah.
And I don't really care if he's the all-time leader in rushing touchdowns for the Bengals. Who was the other quarterback that was there for a long time? Rich Eisen? Did you see him running for many touchdowns? I sure the heck didn't. I mean,
No.
He wasn't playing in my lifetime. But he did. I don't think he has that many rushing touchdowns. But Andy Dalton, when he starts running, I've never seen someone look so... Like, he's not overweight, but you know the look of an overweight person running?
Yeah.
But he's skinny, but he's got that overweight person running.
He doesn't have a clean motion.
No! His throwing arm is awkward. It's not as bad as Brock Osweiler's, but it's just... He's unathletic at 6'4". It's just... He's disgusting to watch. And the thing is, AJ McCarron can play. He's shown that he can win playoff games. He had the Steelers beat, and then his team just fell apart around him.
Yep.
The Bengals are the best team at blowing games ever. They are so good at it. They have it down to an art form.
Even blowing seasons.
Blowing season. No, they have mastered the art of losing. They have mastered the art. Okay, Marvin Lewis is a great defensive coordinator.
Yes.
Can't coach. Cannot coach. Whoever their GM is should be fired. Should be fired. Because apparently whoever their quarterback coach and their scouts are lied because they're frauds. Because Andy Dalton can't play. He just can't. He just cannot play. AJ McCarron should start. He can throw the football. He's shown tremendous poise. And the thing is, Hugh Jackson, who left, said they wanted him. Teams want to trade for him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, you're not trading him away. So do you like him?
Yeah.
Do you like him? Do you want him to start him? Like, you're not trading him away for picks, but then you're not starting him. You're not even having an open quarterback competition. If you had one, AJ McCarron would kill it. It wouldn't even be close. And it's not like he's like Trevor Siemian who can manage the games. He can't. I have nothing positive to say about AJ McCarron.
4-12.
Honestly,
3-13.
If Andy Dalton, knock on the wood, because AJ Green's a great person.
Yeah.
But if he gets, I feel like he's gonna be overused. Like that's what happens to him. He gets overused, and there's always a bad injury or something. Like he cramps or pulls a muscle. Hope this never happens because he's a great guy. I like seeing him play. But if AJ Green goes down, who is Andy Dalton gonna throw to?
Brandon LaFell's gone, isn't he?
I don't even know if he's there anymore.
Tyler Eifert, but he's had injury issues.
He's injury prone. So Joe Mixon, and then you have John Ross. Which, let me say this first. Congratulations getting drafted and running a great time at the 40 and showing up.
Yep.
Congratulations. That's a big deal. But chill out with the hype train, seriously.
I
We
know.
get it. He's fast. We get it. It's not the first time we've had a fast
Can
player.
he run routes in the NFL? Is
Yes.
what we need to know.
I've seen his. I went back and watched his tape at Washington. He can run.
Yeah.
The thing is, he can't take hits over the middle.
Yeah.
He literally.
He's really skinny.
He's trying to think of an example. He reminds me kind of Dante Moncrief before he
Yeah.
he's fast and kind of but he can't take hits.
Right.
I watched the Alabama game. He just kept getting hit, and the ball kept flying out. And the thing is, in the NFL, there are people like Cam Chancellor who hit.
Yeah.
Who hit. And I think he also has a lot of drops. And his route tree was very limited. It was
I
drags.
mean, it could be more. We don't know. We don't know what work he's been putting in.
And the thing that really gets to me about the Bengals, why do they seem to think he's a top 5 receiving duo? Can someone please explain
Yeah, I
that
know.
one to me? So you have a guy that's really good, that's a Pro Bowler, and a guy that ran a really fast 40 time.
Let's see. I bet we can name 5 better duos than them.
Let's go ahead. Tampa Bay,
Evans and Deshaun Jackson.
Pittsburgh,
Antonio Brown
And
and Martavis Bryant.
Atlanta,
Julio and Sanu, Gabriel, whatever.
New England,
Cooks and Edelman.
yeah, or Edelman and Amendola.
Yeah. You could say Cowboys. Brian Witten, maybe.
He's a tight end.
Yeah, I know.
Would you say Terrence Williams is Dez Bryant better than AJ Green?
I don't know if I can really say that though because
They're different.
and AJ Green is overused.
Yep.
And Dak Prescott has really gotten into the feeling like if Dez really isn't open, I'm not gonna force it.
Good job. Which I mean, the thing is, that's why some of the Cowboy fans love Romo is because Romo would run one way, run the other way, and they just fling it and it'd be a touchdown. But Dak is just not that kind of quarterback. It's kind of like the Aaron. I'm not saying the Aaron Rodgers. I'm not comparing him to Aaron Rodgers.
Right, yeah.
But I'm saying like Favre had that style where he'd run one way and then go stop the other way and then throw it across the field to Antonio Freeman.
Yep.
Prescott's more like Rodgers where he's just moving down the field. But I mean, Rodgers still heaves it occasionally.
Right. When Prescott can heave it.
Oh, he can heave it.
Like if Dez Bryant is open,
He will heave it.
he's going.
I mean, his deep ball is good. Just ask the Steelers how good his deep ball is. But
anyway, let's get back to
the point I'm making with the Bengals is they're overhyped.
They
They're
really
missing-
don't have depth.
They don't have any depth. They destroy themselves, and they're just a walking just controversy because there's convicts there. It's like the Cowboys without flair.
Yeah.
Without their $1 billion playpen.
So 3-13, 4-12.
3, 12, and 1.
Yeah, they do seem to tie.
Yeah, 3, 12, and 1.
All right, let's move to the Cleveland Browns, which we've talked about before.
Yep, we're not going to go too deep.
Let's just kind of an overview. I think, like you said, this that describes this division is pieces, but they're getting pieces.
They have a really nice shiny pieces.
Yeah.
You like when you make a puzzle, like people say, build the board of the puzzle pieces. The Browns like, yeah, we don't care. They have like the nice big shiny pieces. We got a new toy. We put it in the middle. But the thing that really bothers me about the Browns is they're throwing Deshaun Kaiser in way too early.
Yeah.
I think he's looked good.
Yeah,
he's looked really
looked great.
good. I'm like, yes, he's looked good, but do you know who else looked like good as Ryan Leaf? I'm not saying that he's going to be a bust because I think he's going to be a star. But I think Browns fans can wait another year. Have him learn.
And honestly,
let him learn the offense. Don't throw him into this mess, which is Cleveland.
And that's what Cleveland's been doing is they've been throwing them people in way too soon.
Yep. So I think the list of quarterbacks that have failed in Cleveland is now up to 23 because I think we can throw Brock Osweiler on that list. It's just bad. It's
improving.
It's improvement.
But it's still bad.
It's improvement, but it's bad. The running game, they need a running back. They should draft a running back.
They still have Duke Johnson, which he's. I mean, they,
Mm.
like this division, they have. I mean, they have Duke Johnson and what Isaiah Crowell.
Don't even get me started on that kid. I don't like Crowell at all.
And again, you kind of need to find which one you really want.
Start David Johnson.
Yeah.
But I think they should draft a running back. If Saquon Barkley from Penn State declares for the NFL draft this year.
And maybe get some secondary.
Yep, I could see him get because Joe Hayden is just
Yeah.
his peak. He's coming down. But Jabril Peppers at safety is really electrifying. I like his punt return. But I love the energy that Greg Williams brought to that defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really good that the Browns are bringing pressure early. It's something that they haven't done for a while. And there's like an attitude to this defense now. It's feisty.
Yeah.
It's feisty.
Even if they don't necessarily have the talent, they're ready to play.
They're feisty. And that's something I haven't said about the Browns defense in a while. Because they're talking that smack, which is nice. And they're animated. They have like passion defensively. It's not like just Joe Hayden's like, let's go get him, guys, let's go play. And they're all like, yeah, whatever, Joe, I don't really care. But like the Bro Peppers and that defense, and they're laying hard hits. Not saying that the backup mate was dirty, it's not. But they're showing some passion defensively, which is really something that they could need, because teams that don't have the most talented roster, but if you play hard and you don't make mistakes, you can knock off some good teams.
Yeah.
And you already know the Bengals are going to hurt themselves. So if you play well, Baltimore's got a lot of moving pieces.
You could get second in the division.
But
Possibly snag a wild card.
We don't know. It's Cleveland Browns. They'll find a way to disappoint. But I just don't see throwing Kaiser in early is a good idea.
I think he's good.
Wait, three games.
Well, and I don't mind seeing him for a quarter or two in the preseason.
Yep.
But starting him, I think is a little too much for him.
I think the better thing is if you don't start him and he takes the starting job, it only helps his confidence. But if you start him and you have to pull him, that only hurts his
Right, exactly. So,
and it's not like Brock Osweiler is the most competent guy in the world right now.
right.
He goes to Denver. He's like, I want to be the starter. They're like, no. Houston, get out of here. Cleveland, no, we don't even want you, but we'll keep you.
I guess we have you.
Or we have you. We can't trade you, so
Because
you
no one wants you.
No one. You can't go back to Arizona.
Well, Jaguars might be calling for Brock Osweiler pretty soon.
Honestly, just start Chad Henne.
Yeah.
Just Brock Osweiler in Jacksonville would be a mess. You know what would be really funny? Watching him having to go into NRG Stadium. Letting JJ watch Davian Clowney.
Oh, yes.
Bill O'Brien would have those dogs after him. I'm not. It's not. It wouldn't be a bounty. I'm saying that, but he would get sacked 7 times.
Yeah.
Upper under 7 times. But for the Browns,
I'm thinking 5 or 6 wins is possible.
7 and 9.
Depends on what they do with the quarterback
Yep.
situation.
I feel like their defense is going to be better. I feel like if they can run the football, I think they can sweep the Bengals.
Yeah, that's
They can
definitely
beat the
possible.
Ravens at home.
Yep.
They can play the Steelers tough. Maybe get some knockoff wins, surprise some people, and move it to 7 and 9.
Uh-huh.
They're not a dark horse to win it all like Kansas
No.
City. But they're gonna be teaming like a year and a half that you don't want to go play at home.
Right.
Remember how Seattle just slow? I'm not saying they're gonna be the Seattle Seahawks. But remember how Seattle was really bad?
And then they
They
inched up.
Then 2012 they were like, okay, we're a little bit better. You don't want to play them at home. They're that kind of team. Then out of nowhere you're like, oh my goodness, this team's good.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, they're in the Super Bowl, and they beat the Broncos. Like, what? And then they just stayed good, and then they slowly plateaued. I think they're kind of just gonna sneak up on people and be like, what? And then
Which is good. They need it.
I think Kaiser could be the star for them, which is good because the Browns haven't had a star quarterback. Oh, was it 30 years now? 40? Jeez Louise.
Long time.
It's getting bad. Man, I would really love to see Joe Thomas hoist up a Super Bowl trophy.
I would really. He's such a loyal guy.
He deserves it the most.
Yeah.
He seriously does. I mean, he could have left for the Patriots years ago.
He could have.
I had 3 rings by now.
Probably.
But the thing is, he says, this just summarizes Joe Thomas's loyalty. I remember all 22 quarterbacks I played. 22. That's a record. That's scary.
Yeah.
Pretty soon the jersey's gonna be the guy that has the jersey name.
Yeah. Huh?
It's going on both sides. It's pretty soon it's gonna be onto his pants. It's bad.
Well, it's improving.
They can't get worse.
So that concludes our AFC North team preview segment. Once school starts, we'll probably be coming out
Once a week.
once a week because football starts up again.
Yep.
At some point, I think we might just do a longer video. I don't know if it'll be longer, but we're gonna get some multiple division previews in,
Just knock those out of the way.
and then eventually we'll come out with our maybe a shorter 10-minute segment on records. Just a shorter one to see because then it's out there.
Then you know where we stand, so you don't go, oh, you changed prediction. Nope.
Yeah, right.
can go
It'll
look
be
at it.
right there. Its own video, right?
Yep.
Makes sense. I want to thank you guys for listening and
Yep.
enjoy your week.